Welcome back to CCNA 3. We're going to talk about network management in Module 10. We're going to talk about some of the protocols that we use to manage and maintain our networks. And in this video, we're going to talk about CDP and LLDP, which are really awesome technologies that I use all the time at work. Excuse me. We're talking about network time protocol. So how do we make sure that time is consistent between all of our devices? SNMP, which is going to allow us to monitor a lot of our devices. Syslog, which is going to allow us to aggregate all the logs of our different switches, routers, firewalls all together into one place, and hopefully make them searchable and all that good stuff. We're going to talk about router and switch file maintenance, which is kind of boring, but it's there, and we're going to learn about it. And iOS image management, which is also kind of boring, but it's there as well. We're going to talk about it. So with that, we're going to talk about CDP. So CDP is Cisco Discovery Protocol. And this is going to allow us at layer 2, it's proprietary by the way to Cisco, layer 2, gather information about a neighboring device. So we're going to run it on all Cisco devices by default. We can turn it off if we want on a port globally. But we're going to send periodic advertisements to connected devices. These advertisements are going to share a ton of information about the type of device that is discovered. It's going to say the name of the device, the number and type of interfaces, the interface that it's on, the VLAN that it's on. So you can see, again, by default it's on. So if you want to see the information about CDP, you type in the show CDP command. To enable it globally, you're going to type CDP run. Of course, if you want to disable it globally, no CDP run. If you want to disable it on a specific interface, you can go no CDP enable in the interface configuration mode. And if you want to enable it, you type CDP enable, right? So the difference here is here it's globally, right? We're going to be in config mode. And in this, we're going to be in config interface mode, right? Because we have to specify a specific interface. Remember that Cisco phones use CDP. We need to have CDP enabled to run Cisco phones in our environment. I believe there's another way you can do it between some DHCP options and some fancy stuff. But usually most organizations, CDP is just a lot easier, and most of the time you're going to be using it if you use Cisco phones and switches. So you can use the show CDP interface command to display the interfaces that are enabled on a device. The status of each interface is also displayed. So when CDP is enabled, we're going to see this kind of information. We could do the show CDP neighbors command, and this is going to give us this little output here. We're going to see things like the device ID of a neighboring device, S1, the interface on S1 that we're connected to, the hold time. No, I apologize. Local interface is the interface on R1. Hold time, how long before we get rid of this device, we don't hear from it again. The compatibility, the platform, which is going to tell us the this is a 3560 switch, and the port ID on that switch that's connected to us. So this is on S1, this is on R1. This is on the actual device we ran the command on, the local interface there. Show CDP neighbors details is going to give us some more information like IP addresses, the full, not serial number. Why can't I think of what that's called? The model number. It's a model number, that's what it is. Full model number. The interface, again, this one is on the device that we're running the command from. And the outgoing port is going to be on the other side, so our neighbor. So LLDP is very similar. It's just vendor neutral. It's pretty much the same thing. Router, switches, wireless access points. And they don't say phones, but IP phones as well. I'm not sure about Cisco IP phones, but other IP phones, yes. basically the same thing, right? We can use basically the same commands, LLDP run instead of CDP run. And on an interface, if we want to do that, it's LLDP transmit or LLDP receive. I mean, and then end. Of course, you want to not do these. If you want to disable them, you can just do a no in front of it. These are disabled by default on Cisco devices, typically enabled by default on non-Cisco devices. So I know this is a Cisco class, but I want to prepare you for both. So show LLDP will show us the status of LLDP, how often we send an advertisement, how long the advertised hold time is, etc., etc. And of course, we can show LLDP neighbors, which looks almost exactly the same, right? The local interface is on our device. The port ID is on the remote device. And the capability, this is a router, this is a bridge. S2 looks like is categorized as a bridge via LLDP. Now you can see a lot of other things if you put the detail command, right? We can see the chassis ID, which that's a MAC address, port ID, port description, if we have a description on that interface. So if you put, link to switch 1 on there, and you would see, oh, hey, it is switch 1 that we're on, so that's correct. System name, R1, right? So we can see that's the system we're connected to. The iOS software, and usually, in this case it says Linux, usually it'll have a actual software number, and so you'll know the version of software. A lot of other information here that's available. So we talked about CDP, which is a Cisco proprietary discovery protocol, LLDP, which is vendor neutral. One of the awesome things we can do with this is we can buy a little tool that will actually give us that information. Will actually connect and give us that information via CDP or LLDP. Now, this type of tool, there's many of them. My favorite is the Fluke, which was then bought out by NetScout, which was then bought out by NetAlly. So NetAlly makes a tool. It's called the Link Runner AT2000. Which is a very, very popular tool. It's about $2,000 if you buy it new. Here's the product page for it. You can find it used like a Fluke or NetScout, as opposed to NetAlly, which bought them. Bought the brand. It's the same exact device, it's just colored different. But really, this allows us to do that discovery. So if I hit the switch discovery, and you would do this on the physical device, it would look the same. If you can see here, you'll see we have all of this information here. We have the name of the device. Let me try that again. The name of the device here. We have the model of the device. We have the IP address of the device. We have the port. We have the port here. We have what kind of negotiation it did. So this could be 10 meg, 100 meg, or 1 gig. Full duplex here or half duplex, and it has full duplex bolded because it's what it negotiated. And actually in this case they are also providing PoE information. This can be very, very useful for troubleshooting PoE. Now you have to enable that within your link runner, but that is very valuable information as well. You'll see here we have the VLAN that it's on, in this case 500, and we have a lot of other things we can do with this device. I love this little thing. You can do this auto test, which will tell you, hey, you have very, very detailed information on all of that. Of course, you can see the PoE configuration here. You can see, you can test a cable as well, and you can tone on the cable if you want, etc., etc. Very, very useful tool. I love it. I can't live without it. And that uses CDP or LLDP information to actually give you all that information. Well, not all of it, not PoE. It actually negotiates PoE, but and the link speed and stuff. But for all that switch information, it'll use LLDP or CDP, whatever is available. So with that, that's all I have to say about CDP and LLDP. And I will see you soon to talk about network time protocol, how we sync together all of our devices to have the same time.